organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, Republicans are quickly responding to remarks from President Obama's speech at the UI Wednesday. Stay tuned for what they had to say.
And are bikes becoming more popular than cars? As the weather heats up, fewer cars are making their way through town.
It's been beautiful out today with warm temperatures and sunny skies, but that's soon to change in this next upcoming week. I'll be back soon with a look at your 6-day forecast.
And in sports, it's out with the old and in with the new. We'll tell you about more upgrades to the Hawkeye football program.
That's coming up right here on Daily Iowan TV.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Good evening and welcome into your Thursday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Lauren Moss.
And I'm Jake Abrams. Students heard President Obama's take on the student debt on Wednesday right here at the U of I, and now the House of Representatives is firing back. Speaker of the House John Boehner announced Wednesday that the House will vote Friday to extend current rates on college students for 1 year. The decision comes as President Obama travels the country campaigning at universities for such an extension. Currently, students pay an interest rate of 3.4% on their federal loans, but that rate is set to expire on July 1st, with the new rate being double the original amount at 6.8%.
Iowa lawmakers are having trouble finding a compromise to state spending. Democrats and Republicans in Des Moines told reporters Thursday that they have narrowed their differences over the state budget, but big gaps remain and neither side wants to budge. House Speaker Craig Paulson said House Republicans already have agreed to more spending than they would have liked, and it's time for Democrats to reach across the aisle. But Senate Majority Leader Mike Gronstel says Democrats will not budge from education spending they feel is crucial to have the future workforce of the state. Both sides are also at a standoff as to whether Iowa should dip into its state reserve to balance the budget.
And a recent poll has shown that Americans' top New Year's resolutions was once again to lose weight. Daily Iowan TV's Josh Bolander tells us why cutting pounds and looking good are not the only benefits you're going to get after hitting the gym.
Every day, thousands of UI students pour into the state-of-the-art campus recreation center, walk through the turnstiles, and make an effort to not only better themselves, but better their physical well-being. And while many of those are focused on sculpting the better beach body, or just need some competition after a long day of classes, there is something that most all of them are oblivious to.
What the students working out behind me on the corner of Burlington and Madison at the Campus Rec Center may not know is that recent studies published show that physical exercise may actually prevent mental illness, including depression.
3 major media outlets have recently published their own findings on prescribing exercise to treat depression, and the results are worth looking into. The New York Times cited a handful of doctors who believe the possibility is worth investigating. The Mayo Clinic of Medicine in Minnesota also has found depression symptoms improve with exercise. And according to a 2010 study done by Time magazine, researchers are quoted as saying that exercise alone may be powerful enough to treat depression. So whether it's pumping iron, just hanging out at your local gym or wellness center, or jogging or walking with friends, remember the next time you're done working out, you may have done more than you think. Josh Bolander, Daily Iowan TV.
The overall number of university students who use their cars on campus is down, and now more than ever, students are getting around town by riding their bikes or using buses. Daily Iowan TV's Nick Rector has the story on why most students are making this choice.
This time of the year, just as the warm weather greets us, you start to see a lot more students walking to class. And not just that, but you'll see a rising number of bicycle riders in town as well. But why? Today I hung out by the bike racks outside of the library to find out. I talked to one UI student who said he has never even owned a car before.
I've always lived in an area where it's more accessible and actually more efficient to ride my bike or walk.
That's not the only reason why students are choosing to walk or ride bikes, though. The decision not to use the car also has other perks.
It's absolutely a financial decision. I mean, as far as not owning a car, I don't have not only gas prices, but parking is one of the biggest issues on campus.
Because of this, a lot of students are choosing to avoid using cars on campus. In return, the UI student car storage permits have dropped dramatically in the past 7 years. According to the UI Parking and Transportation, in October of 2004, there were about 1,400 student car permits. And in October 2011, there were about 700. That's a 50% drop. I'm not saying you need to follow this trend by any means, but if you're smart and want to save some cash, you may want to think about pulling up your kickstand and riding to your classes the rest of the semester. Nick Rector, Daily Iowan TV.
The rules may be changing here in Iowa when it comes to caucusing. After state GOP Chairman Matt Strawn announced Mitt Romney the winner of Iowa back in January, later it was found that Rick Santorum was actually the winner. A panel has proposed winners not to be announced in an Iowa caucus where the margin is less than 1%. An Iowa advisor for Rick Santorum's campaign said that the hiccup cost Santorum a significant amount of fundraising in the 2 weeks following the caucus, where it was still believed that Romney had won. Strawn resigned as chairman after the mix-up, and the panel will discuss the proposal at a later meeting.
Still much more to come on Daily Iowan TV.
The Pentacrest was filled with some colorful t-shirts today. Stay tuned to find out why.
Coming up in sports, it's a busy weekend for Hawkeye athletes with the track and field team heading to Des Moines for the Drake Relays.
But first, let's check in with Daily Iowan TV's Taysha Woods for a look at your weekend weather. Taysha?
Thanks, guys, and like I said, today's weather's been warm and beautiful, but this next week doesn't look quite so sunny. But first, let's take a look at tomorrow's forecast. Friday morning we'll have a high of 46 degrees. Later into the afternoon, highs will reach only about 52 degrees and settle into about 50 into the evening. Later this weekend, highs will only reach the 50s and a 30% chance of thunderstorms on Friday and 50% chance of rain Saturday. Sunday should be cloudy, but dry. And then you'll see temperatures start to warm up with a high of 64 and 72 on Monday and Tuesday. But again, with a 30% chance of rain and thunderstorms on Wednesday with 79. So guys, it's going to be pretty rainy next week, but students shouldn't get too down in the dumps before finals. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Taysha. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and the Pentacrest earlier today was filled with colorful t-shirts made by victims of sexual assault. Daily Iowan TV's Muriel Kone was on hand for this colorful display.
What may appear to be an array of colorful t-shirts actually carries a deeper memory for victims of abuse from around Iowa City. And with the many colors comes different meaning. For example, red, orange, and pink shirts are for survivors of rape and sexual assault. And the coordinator of the Rape Victim Advocacy Program tells me what it means to be a support system.
Being someone who can talk to a survivor and say, you know, it's not okay, and knowing that when they talk to myself or another staff person or any one of our volunteers, that they're reaching out, that they're getting information, they're getting support.
And to help show support for the thousands of domestic violence and rape victims, a constant gong and whistle rung out throughout the day. The gong indicates that a woman is battered every 9 seconds in the United States, and the whistle was blown to indicate that someone is raped every 2 minutes in America.
So you get to come up and read stories from survivors or families of survivors, and I think for a lot of people who've done these shirts, they're clients of RVAP, and so this can be somewhat cathartic for them.
And 1 out of every 8 women in Iowa will be a victim of forcible rape in her lifetime. What's interesting is that number is statistically higher because many times most victims of rape and other abuse may never share it with anyone in their lifetime. And so putting together a project such as this is that much more important.
If it's no more than the message that it isn't your fault, that you did not cause this, you didn't do anything to make this happen. So that's the importance for me.
And organizers do hope that members of the Iowa City community will strive to do their part.
We're a bystander. We see something happen or we hear something, then we have a responsibility to say, that's not okay.
Muriel Kone, Daily Iowan TV.
And now for a look beyond Iowa. Today was Take Your Kids to Work Day at the White House. Michelle Obama spoke with a number of children and answered questions about her job in the White House. Nearly 200 of White House employees toured the mansion and met with everyone from the First Lady to the White House chefs.
And while the First Lady was speaking to children today at the White House, the president announced 13 Medal of Freedom recipients. Obama said he awarded this honor to people who have made a lasting contribution to the life of the nation. Those honors included singer Bob Dylan, astronaut John Glenn, as you see right there, and Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens, among many others. The ceremony will be later this year.
And now Daily Iowan TV's Kyle Hughes is here for a look at Hawkeye sports.
Thanks, guys. Changes in a football team are usually more noticeable when they happen on the field. But for the Iowa Hawkeyes, it's the things you don't see on game day that are changing the most. Last week, the UI bubble was deflated after being the team's indoor practice facility for 27 years. The former site of the bubble will now serve as a lot for UI faculty and athletic event parking. The deflation of the bubble makes way for a brand new indoor practice facility that is expected to be completed in time for the beginning of fall practices. The practice facility is the main component of Phase 1 of the facility's plan. Then today, the Iowa Board of Regents approved Phase 2 of the facility upgrades to the football program. A proposed $36.6 million operations facility is the centerpiece of the project. The two-level complex will connect to the new indoor practice facility and features locker rooms, strength and conditioning space, meeting rooms, and administrative offices. UI Athletics Director Gary Barter said these facility upgrades are necessary tools to help them reach their goal of competing for championships. Construction of the football operations facility is set to begin next spring, with the completion of the project coming around summer of 2014. And while football has lots to look forward to in the future, there are plenty of Hawkeye athletes just focusing on this weekend. The Iowa track and field team heads to Des Moines for the 103rd Drake Relays, which started up today and wrap up on Saturday. Iowa brings 14 athletes ranked in the top 5 in the Big Ten for their events to the meet. The Hawkeyes will look to build upon last year's success, where they were champions in both the men's and women's sprint medley. The Drake Relays, which started in 1910, is one of the largest and most prestigious track and field events in the country. And if you're not traveling to Des Moines for the relays this weekend, head out to Bob Pearl Field for some Iowa women's softball. Head coach Marla Looper's Hawkeye squad hosts Big Ten foe Indiana in a 3-game set, starting with a doubleheader on Saturday. Game 1 of that doubleheader is set to start at 2 o'clock, with Game 2 following shortly after. Then the two teams wrap things up on Sunday with a 1 p.m. matchup. The Hawkeye softball team currently sits in a tie for 4th place in the Big Ten standings with just 9 games left to play. Jake and Lauren, back to you.
All right, thanks, Kyle. And before we leave you tonight, take a look at this. 50 dogs competed in the Beautiful Bulldog Contest in Des Moines. The event was hosted by Drake, and we can officially announce the winner is Tyson. This 2-year-old beat out the other 49 dogs and was crowned as the prettiest pooch. Tyson is from Urbandale, and his owners say what makes him beautiful is his personality.
My dog would have won the competition if she was in it. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek at Friday's pages of the Daily Iowan.
Yeah, read about proposed anti-bullying hotline for the entire state of Iowa.
And learn about an Iowa City controversy as the Board of Regents approved historic buildings on Melrose Avenue to be knocked down.
Well, that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out at the same time on Sunday or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
And thanks for watching and have a great night.